Hello, money queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Hey, welcome ladies, welcome money queens. I am Jessica Weaver, your host here at Women Behind the Millions, where we talk all things power, prosperity, and the color pink. Of course, the color pink. I am so excited. I say this every time, but I really am. I'm so grateful for the guest that we have coming on here today. She really is a pioneer in the space of the financial industry, but also for women business owners, also for people who are immigrants who are coming over from other parts of the world to build a life here in the United States as well. And this theme is going to be very prevalent in her story. We're going to get her to share about it. But as you know, at Women Behind the Millions, we always start with a very grounding mantra, prayer. And then at the end, you stay tuned and you get to be a part of one of our meditations, usually around money, wealth, abundance, expansion, all of that. And I thought how fitting for our guest who's about to come on here for this one mantra. And it's a prayer too. I say this as part of a larger prayer every morning. I say it throughout the day. It is an amazing reminder. And this morning, as I'm getting ready, I do my own glam. I'm in the bathroom. My kids, they keep popping in and out as they need things for me as they're starting to get ready for school. Sometimes they like to come in to poop in the bathroom while I'm getting ready, which is so much fun. And this morning I'm listening to Abraham Hicks, big fan of hers on YouTube. And the same prayer came up again. It's like, oh, clearly God wants me to say it to all of you today because somebody needs to hear it. Maybe we all need to hear it. And I invite you all to let's listen to it and then we'll do something with it. But the mantra of the prayer today is, I love when life surprises and delights me. I love when life surprises and delights me. And that's just a little thing that you can say all throughout the day. You're driving, you're at work. It's amazing what that will spur. And you can just feel the frequency of it, right? The energy, the love, the positivity of it. And you can go ahead, you can put your hands on your heart, right? Our heart is a great way for us to talk to ourselves and to listen to ourselves. And you can close your eyes and you can just say to yourself, I love when life surprises and delights me. And as you say that, you can say that loud, you can think it. I love when life surprises and delights me. Feel in your body. Is there something in your body, your arms, your chest, your back, your stomach, your legs, that is, you feel this new energy, this excitement, this frequency. That is a huge clue. Pay very close attention. That's a very big clue that you are about to hit a breakthrough. And my whole mantra of life is, right, there is always a next level for your money, for your wealth, for your career, your business, personally, your family. There's always a next level. So you're on that cusp of a huge breakthrough. Now, here's the big piece, the bridge that most people don't talk about, right? We all love the book, The Secret. We love Law of Attraction. But a piece that is missing there is you have thousands, tens of thousands of thoughts going through your mind a day. 90% of these thoughts are repetitive thoughts. Right? We literally are thinking the same thing over and over and over again. When today, because you just said that prayer, that mantra, become more of a filter with your thoughts, like a third party to your thoughts and filtering them. Become very disciplined in filtering through those thoughts. And when you get a new thought, that's not a repetitive thought, it's something completely new. This happened to me yesterday. That is a download. That's a download from God, from the universe. That is a new download that's going to help you with your breakthrough. I know Abraham, she always jokes with people that we're trying to manifest more money in our bank account. So they just come from the manifestation into my bank account. Why can't it just show up in my bank account? It's not really how it works. It's these thoughts, these downloads that inspire you to go in a new career path or a new project to start, an opportunity, a relationship to go and nurture or build. And then that's the bridge. Then the money comes in too. So see how life can surprise and delight you today. We're going to bring on our guest because I want to hear what she's going to think of this as well, this idea, this theme. And start jotting things down as these new thoughts, these downloads come to you, because that's showing you are on the path to this breakthrough. You're getting the clues along the way, these new thoughts. And new thoughts, that's exciting, right? Instead of thinking the same things over and over again, you actually end up living in your past. Not as much fun. These are new things. So take note of them. And with that, we are going to bring on to stage into our studio here, Nora Gillis. Nora has just celebrated working 10 years at Asset Mark, which is an incredible financial firm. They do all third-party money managers for us. In her current role as a regional consultant, she works with financial advisors of all walks of life and helps them navigate the resources they can offer their businesses and their clients. She is originally from Latvia. We're going to talk about her journey she made all the way to New Jersey. She is actually close, almost like a neighbor to us. She lives in the next town over from us in New Jersey by getting a full scholarship at college. And we're going to talk about that today as well. So with that, welcome Nora to our stage. So excited to have you here with us. Our picture's kind of cutting off your, your beautiful face here. But Nora Gillis of Asset Mark. Welcome, Nora, to Women Behind the Millions. Welcome back, actually.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is really, really exciting, and what you were just talking about, that connected with me so much. I love when life surprises and delights me. I mean, frankly, connecting with you has been one of those things where you don't know where that next person that inspires you and brings something new and things you did not anticipate could maybe work this way in your life. And that's, I think, what happened when you and I connected. I thought, oh, this is amazing. Look at what she's doing and look at what she's building. I want to try to be part of that. I want to support that because that's bringing this surprise and delight into my life.
You've been on our podcast, Women Behind the Millions. Now you're on season 2 of Women Behind the Millions, the TV show. I mean, that's probably pretty unexpected, especially in the financial industry. Not a lot of that fun media stuff happens.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, and for many reasons, financial services, we're a very conservative industry. Right. But once, that thing where you see something once and you notice it and you start seeing it pop up in other places. So seeing what you're doing and what Women's Wealth Boutique is doing kind of had me looking out for other advisors, other financial services professionals doing similar things. And maybe it's just me noticing, but I'm seeing that come up more and more and connecting with people in different ways, not just in that kind of more traditional, expected type of framework, which is maybe just one-on-one, maybe a seminar, things like that.
Yes. And what you're talking about is Mel Robbins preaches on this. Your RAS, what is it? Reticular accelerated system. It's a filter in your brain. When you want to buy a new car and you start seeing that car everywhere, driving the road, parking lots, your brain, once you start to see something and you like it, you want to see more of it, your brain will actively search for it in your environment or almost push you to meet people that are doing what it is you're looking for as well. That is amazing. And I was thinking of your journey, Nora, even from overseas in Latvia to here. I'm sure at some point that kind of surprised you to do it.
To get here where I am?
Yes. Yeah, to come here. We talked about this on your podcast, but for people who are just meeting Nora, she has this incredible story I want to go back to that little girl, teenage girl at Latvia. Who was she like, Nora? And would she be blown away by the person you are today and where you are?
And this again, life surprises and delights you. You may have a goal in mind, but you never know where life is going to take you. So Latvia is this very small country in Eastern Europe, sort of between Sweden and Russia. And, winters are really, really long and dark. I always thought I want to go abroad and study. I want a new experience. It's a small country. We're former Soviet Union, which means that life felt very constricted at times. Thought I want to open things up. I don't know where this is going to go. So I thought I want shorter winters, warmer weather. I love the ocean. So let's go somewhere in the US. And then I ended up in New Jersey, which does have a beautiful ocean and shoreline and all of those things. And is frankly a lot warmer compared to Latvia. So there. But I was a very kind of A student, right? I want to do all the right things. I want to know what are the boxes that I need to tick to get somewhere. But I also did not recognize at the time I do have a bit of a rebellious or contrarian streak, because when I wanted to apply to colleges in the US, I had several people tell me, "Oh, you're just wasting your time. You were going to waste all this money for all these applications and these things, and it's such a small chance that you will be able to get an academic scholarship and be able to afford this, and that everything will get figured out." In some ways that was a little discouraging, but that rebellious part of my brain that I'm recognizing more and more said, well, let's see. let's see. You might be right, but I'm going to do everything that I can to prove you wrong. And I was just really, really excited to get that academic scholarship offer.
I love wasting your money. And then look what happened.
Right, exactly. And it was not easy, and it was a lot of hard work and very confusing to navigate the system that is very, very different from how we do things where I come from. Sure. and in general in Europe. But to get that email that says, you have been awarded this 4-year full scholarship, just sort of blew my mind. And then to say, okay, where is that? New Jersey. Okay, that's close to New York City. I think that sounds interesting. Let's go there. I had never come to the US before. I had never visited. So I thought, okay, I guess this is what we're doing.
Can you remember the emotions, the feelings of stepping onto that plane to completely change your life, the trajectory of your life? I was a painfully shy teenager, so super insecure. That would have been way too much for me. What was it like for you?
Yes, as well. I was very, I don't know if I would say shy, but I was terrified of so many things. I was terrified of doing the wrong thing. At the same time, when you're 18 years old, it was half terror and half excitement. And for the journey, first and foremost, the excitement took over. And then when I fully arrived in New Jersey and sort of got dropped off at the college, that's when that other part kicked in and said, oh my gosh, what have I done? My family is an ocean away. We didn't have, WhatsApp and Skype at the time yet. So I'm trying to find a calling card to call my mom and tell her that I've arrived here. So it was challenging, but I kept sort of saying, well, let me just do this one next thing. Let me go get through this day and this week, and maybe I will just finish 1 year if I really feel like I can't, I'm not feeling happy here because everything is so strange and so different, and I don't fit in, and I don't know the right things to say and the right clothes to wear, and all of that. And I just kept telling myself, well, let's just get through this one next thing, and then let's see, I'll make a decision at that point. And then at the end of that, I got through all 4 years and got my finance degree.
You do something us runners do a lot. Let me just run to that next tree. Let me just run to that next mailbox. And before you know, you kind of forget about that, and you're just moving, and you're like, okay, I can to the next mile, the next 2 miles. Mm-hmm. And so that momentum, how has that helped you in your career? Because here you are in a male-dominated industry, right? Before you were immigrant, did you speak English when you came over?
Yes, I spoke English, but I spoke academic, more British English. So there were a lot of things I would be listening to conversations and think, I speak English, but I have no idea what's happening right now.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah. So kind of feeling like a fish out of water in a way.
Oh, absolutely.
And then going into a male-dominated industry, I'm sure that had to have helped give you that courage. I mean, so much courage.
In a way. And it was, again, that same thing. I had this goal in mind, and I didn't know what exactly that would look like, but it had a feeling to it, sort of like coming to college in the US had this feeling of opportunity and freedom and just all these different paths that could happen for me. That's the same idea I had when I was applying for jobs after college. I thought, well, Manhattan, right? Financial center of the US, of the world, probably. I don't know what this is going to look like, but it had that feeling of possibility. And it, of course, also had that feeling of, what if I fail? I think a lot of us, and me personally, always had a really big fear of failure. And I think that's ingrained a lot more in little girls frequently than it is in little boys, and the way that we're sort of socialized a little bit to just do the right thing, right? And be nice and do your homework and get the good grades. And we learned that it's very scary, that thought of, I'm going to do something wrong, and everyone will look at me and know that I've done something wrong, that I don't fit in, I didn't know the right thing to say. So I was very, very timid. I think when I started my first job, I was just observing. I was trying to, do everything, anticipate what my boss will ask of me, but just kind of sit there and take notes and don't draw too much attention to myself. That was a big, big thing. Because if they notice me, maybe they will say, oh, what is she doing here? She doesn't fit in. She's not one of us.
You're hitting on so many points, Nora, that I'm relating. Everything's resonating to me, right? The fitting in, don't be too loud, right? Sit there quietly, blending in the end, being timid and not taking risk. And we see this across the board with women. And something that kept popping up into your mind as you're talking about how we're trained this at a very young age. And this isn't the whole reason that we're trained this way, but the story just popped into my mind that I remember my parents saying, you can get pregnant, Jess. Like, your mistakes can carry with you. They're going to stay with you. And but my brother, he could get somebody pregnant, and they go, that didn't seem as big of a deal to them. So it feels like we were trained that if you do make a mistake, it stays with you. And not necessarily a mistake to learn from, and grow from, and it's going to help you build, become more mature as a person, learn more. I remember that very same thing.
Carries different consequences. All of these actions, or how we're trained as younger kids, our actions seem to carry more consequences somehow as girls. And again, my environment also being a little different, that Soviet Union framework, which thankfully is way past us, but that was a very scary environment in many ways. And that was also kind of just make sure you do the right thing, otherwise there's trouble. What does trouble mean? So you learn, just do the right thing. Don't cause noise, don't cause trouble, and don't be as noticeable. Do the right things, get the A's, but don't be loud, as you said. And I already have a hard time not being noticed because I'm almost 6 feet tall.
Very tall.
So it always made me feel like, what's the balance between trying to make myself smaller, maybe for other people, but also having these big dreams and these ideas that I want to realize, but I'm feeling like that fear of failure and almost that paralysis of, well, what if I try this and it's the wrong thing? And people will say she did the wrong thing. She doesn't know what she's doing after all.
Yes. It's one thing, being seen, and then being seen and taking risks.
Mm-hmm.
I could take risks if I'm not seen. Nobody's going to really notice it. But when I'm loud, I'm talking about it, and I'm reading a book right now called Be Seen. We are meant to be seen. We are meant to allow our authentic selves to be out there and in the world. And it's very, especially with social media, it's very hard.
And you know how it comes into career paths for women. And I know this because this is what I did myself when I was younger, is we wait for somebody to notice us. We wait to if I do all the right things, somebody will tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, I see you and I'm going to promote you. You should try for that. But it puts us in a passive position. Again, I know this because I did this, to wait for somebody else to acknowledge us and to tap us on the shoulder and to sort of move us in our career path, versus identifying what it is that we want and asking for it. And it's hard. It can be really, really hard to get to that point. It took me a long time to start to be almost a more active participant in my own career that way.
Yes, you're right. We do wait to be seen and for somebody to acknowledge what we've built and to give us the testimonials and the praise and the next promotion stuff. But you said it beautifully. That's becoming very passive in your own life, right? And you're letting somebody else lead and dictate where you want to go. And you don't get if you don't ask. You're not going to receive unless you ask for it actively. And there's a way to talk yourself up and to be seen and to be acknowledged for what you contribute, and to not be in this very egotistical way that I think so many women are scared of.
Right, because they think they're going to be called bossy and pushy and annoying.
And ITCHing.
Yes, that word too. And again, that's sort of starts when we're little girls. It's such a cliche, but little girls are called bossy and little boys are said you have leadership skills. You're assertive.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I want to switch gears here, Nora, and talk about, finding, and we were leading into this, creating your own path in a male-dominated industry career. And we have some trivia questions for you.
Oh my gosh.
Are you ready? These are good ones. Okay, ready? In the United States, what is the percentage of female money managers? I'm going to give you a few answers, okay? Well, A, 35%, B, 25%, C, 12.5%, or D, 50%?
When you say money managers, portfolio managers,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say C, probably.
Yeah, 12.5%. And that number has been unchanged, ladies, for 10 years. Just 10 years. We're going to talk about this in a second. We're going to talk about this. One more question for you. Great job, though. That's tough one. True or false? Women are straying away from finance careers because of the lack of mentors and role models.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you had any female mentors in your career?
Yes, I have, and they've played such an important role in my career, in my life, and I would say I've been lucky, but some of it, even though I wasn't as assertive, some of it has been me looking for that mentorship, and I've had great male mentors as well.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
But from the very beginning, even in college, I went. University of St. Elizabeth was all girls when I went there. So I was surrounded by strong women. And then starting my career, I actually just spoke with my mentor who worked with me at my very first job a couple of weeks ago. We're still very closely in touch. She's retired years ago now, and she keeps a very close eye on my career. And she gives me advice, and she tells me, hey, I think now is the right time for you to explore this. Have you thought about that?
Wow.
And she was the chief investment officer at AXA back when I worked there, part of that organization. And she had to, women like her are the ones who built out that road for me and for everybody else. There are still not a lot of women, especially in those higher levels in financial services, but what she had to go through as an investment professional years and years ago, is what we're going through is nothing compared to that. So there's so many women that blaze the path, and I've found that there are a lot of them who love passing that on, and they're just waiting to be asked for some advice. And I did find that very intimidating initially as well. I thought, I just want to ask you how to do everything. I'm not sure I should come to you with a specific question, but my question is, how do you do it, and how should I do it? Help me with my career overall. But what I've discovered whenever I've approached more senior women, or really anybody really in a leadership role, they're really, really happy to share their insights and to pass that on. So all you have to do frequently is ask. And sometimes when you are not ready to ask, I had a really great manager for a long time in my career at Asset Mark. All my managers actually have been great, but I went to him and I said, I really would love to work with this senior woman at the company as my mentor, but I don't know how to approach her. Can you help me? Can you help me start that conversation or make a connection for me? And he was incredibly happy to do that. I just had to ask.
Look at that, the power of asking. This seems to be a theme as we're talking today, is being more proactive instead of passive for promotions, for that next opportunity, for mentors. And it sounds like, I love that you didn't even know how to ask the next person, so you ask somebody else, right? You just get super curious and start asking people questions instead of shying away from them. It sounds like there's active mentors, and then there's also kind of like passive ones. They're there, they're willing, like come and ask them questions. And then there's other ones who are as you mentioned, the one who's looking at your career and letting you know now it's the time for you to try this or explore this opportunity, which and both very powerful, but those active ones. This came up when we were at a conference the other week. Women, they're finding mentors, but then there's this other role of a sponsor. And a sponsor is the person in the room that you're not in the meetings yet, talking you up, saying they need to go for this. We need to promote them. Or let's say they get promoted and they bring you with them and they're kind of carving, right, this whole new career trajectory for you as well. Do you see that difference too in the women that you're talking about, a mentor versus a sponsor?
Absolutely. And not just women, but men as well. Again, some of my more closer sponsor relationships have been some of my male managers who have served that role for me. And they have also then encouraged me to say, hey, maybe this is not going to be as close a relationship for you if you go connect with that senior female leader at the company, but it's still going to be so good for you. You can ask her questions, you can stay connected and you can hear things from her perspective. But sponsors are a lot harder to sort of find and define in your career. I think, and my advice for younger women is just make those connections and cultivate relationships and stay in touch with people who seem very supportive and who have knowledge. Don't be afraid to ask them questions. And some of these, again, turn into lifelong relationships. Like Rosemary, who is the chief investment officer back in my AXA days, who's just this amazing, amazing woman. And I'm so happy to still have her in my life more than 10 years after I've left that company and she's retired and all of that. So.
Very nice. And you're right. Sponsors, it's harder to define. It's not like you're going to go and find somebody like, will you be my sponsor? It's kind of like a guardian angel, right? Who's just bringing you along for it. But it sounds like more investing, right? Relationship is an investment. Invest in relationships with other people. And I would say invest in the careers of other people. Like be an active role, whether you're mentoring or the mentee of somebody else, or there could be a peer and you're just each other's hype crew, hyping each other up and bringing each other up along the way. I want to kind of round out our conversation today because you've brought on so many huge pieces before we move on to the next segment of the show, is becoming more active in your career. Don't be so passive in it. You said early on the feeling when the new opportunity comes, you're very in tune with what is that feeling in my body? What is that energy around it? Is it fear and dread or is it excitement? And I'm just reading this book on the frequency of the difference between fear and, let's say, a decision made from peace, excitement, happiness. And it's from, I think they scaled it on a scale of 1 to 1,000. And fear was around 50 to 100. Excitement, peace was the highest one, was like 800 or 900. It's completely different. But what was crazy, Nora, is people who live in those higher frequencies can make up for millions of the people living at these lower frequencies. So I would say pay attention to the people around you and which frequency they operate in more on a regular basis, because they are going places. They are changing the world. And that's who you want to latch onto. That's the boat you want to be in.
And what I also want to say is it's okay if you don't feel that right now. It's okay if you're scared. It's okay. I spent some parts of my early career sort of getting paralyzed by this fear of doing the wrong thing and all of that. It's okay if you're not there yet. And some of this is a learned skill. I think a lot of it is a learned skill. And it's okay to take those small steps. And you may take 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. You shy away from something that was kind of exciting, but also scary. I think a lot of new opportunities we encounter have that balance of excitement and fear. And it's okay. I think as women, we tend to be really hard on ourselves. I'm really, really hard on myself frequently. And I think, well, if I did not, I should have been braver. I should have had more courage and just went for it at that point, and I did not. And I don't want those thoughts to completely derail anybody. That's okay. You will try again a different time. It's okay to take baby steps. These thoughts or these slogans of like, just take the leap and all of that. Sometimes we can do it and sometimes we can't, and that's okay. Just don't give up completely. Try again. Tomorrow's a new day. Just step by step, ask for advice and tell the people around you, hey, I'm really scared. I'm really stressed out. And that will pass. It will pass after a while. And then you will start to recognize, like, hey, this is something that happens a lot. I get really scared. And maybe if I do this and I feel it sort of move through me almost, then I can do that again and it's less scary. And the next time it's even less scary. I mean, public speaking's like that. Very few people are natural public speakers. Very, very few. Everyone's scared. It takes time. And then after a while you go, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. I said the wrong thing here and this expression wasn't right. I will pronounce things in a wrong way occasionally because, again, English is not my first language, or forget what I wanted to say. And at the end of the day, you go, well, it's fine. Yeah. That's fine. I will do it differently next time. Or maybe I will do it the same and then 5 times in the future. Then I will do it maybe more in a way that feels better for me. But all of that is okay. Don't feel like you have to do these big dramatic things and feel no fear. I think that's unrealistic at all.
It is unrealistic. You're right, Nora. You could just feel her grounding energy, can't you, ladies? Like, were you just talking to me, Nora? Because I feel like you just talked me off of a ledge. That was beautiful, very grounding. I know why you are so successful at what you do and still growing and evolving. And this kind of round out back to that starting point when you go, I just needed to make it one day. I just was going to make it, a week, a month. And what you probably kept doing was checking in with yourself. Mm-hmm. Am I okay? Is this still where I want to be, where I still feel that opportunity as well? So very, very nice, Nora. We're going to keep you on here. We're going to have a quick commercial break, and then we're going to be right back here with Nora. So stay tuned because she's going to give us her hot money tip, her financial trend, because she's also one of our trendsetters in our new book coming out February of 2024. So stay with us, ladies.
Women are born connectors. Yes, we'd love to talk. We are comfortable crying around each other. But this is also what makes us real. We embrace being vulnerable with one another, and this dismantles that wall, the barrier that separates us from our clients. We aren't intimidating, we are real and honest. We aren't here to judge you, we are here to guide you. Women seeking their own healing from the traumas of life. We focus on personal growth because if we grow, everyone around us will grow. That's how it works with women. That's how it works at the Women's Wealth Boutique. We bring everyone up with us. I'm grateful for the men in our lives to embrace this quality in us, who are comfortable in their own skin to take a step back so we can shine. I'm so thankful for the blessing of my own husband who lets my pink light shine all over. We work with and support all women in the financial industry at the Women's Wealth Boutique, female advisors, professionals, investors, and clients. Our mission is to guide women to invest their money where their heart is, whether that is in themselves, specialty investments, real estate, their own business, to help women spend where it feels good to them, not to anyone else, and to be who they are meant to be at the Women's Wealth Boutique.
All right, we are back. If you are curious about the Women's Wealth Boutique, whether as an advisor, a client, an investor, reach out to us, womenswealthboutique.com. We just had the QR code up there as well. All right, Nora, are you ready for our hot money tip? I love this part of the segment because you get these juicy insights into what successful women are doing with their money. How powerful. So, Nora, what do you got for us today?
So my hot money tip is in some ways almost boring, but this is absolutely the best thing that I've learned working in financial services industry is to know what your goals are. And for most of us, those are very long-term goals. My goal primarily is I'm investing for my retirement, which is still years away. And don't let negative news headlines and your emotions that are tied to those headlines sway your commitment to that goal. Again, most of us invest for the long term. And then we watch financial media, we watch the news, and we see all these scary headlines frequently. Or we may talk to a neighbor who says, I just invested in cryptocurrency and I made so much money in a week. And all of a sudden those emotions kind of get to us and make us think, maybe I should be doing something different. I know I made this plan and it's very well thought out. And for those of you who are working with financial advisors, yes, please do that. It's financial advisors' job to understand how you look at risk and what your goals are and put together a plan that will work through all of these different market cycles and volatility. Markets will go up and down. That's just what's going to happen. So don't let these negative emotions and too much news get you off your plan and off your goal. That is how investors make mistakes that can really affect their long-term goals, their retirement, all of that. So turn off the news. If it's making you really, really anxious, my tip is turn off the news.
Turn it off. And you provided us with this amazing piece.
Yes.
I know it's covering our faces, but you can see the path of how people invest, right? And we move from these pendulums of fear to greed, I think, yes. Right? Money's made in the middle, but people right at the top there, you see greed. Mm-hmm. And is that where they tend to sell, Nora?
People tend to sell at the bottom there when everybody's panicking, mm-hmm. Usually right before those markets start going up again and enthusiasm starts building. So we're human, right? And as humans, we are driven a lot more by emotions than we frequently realize. And what I want to say is don't let those emotions sort of make the decisions for you and shake your confidence and get in and get out at the wrong time. Have a plan, stick to the plan, be smart, and just be aware that emotions are going to pull at you and it can be a little difficult sometimes. So talk to somebody, talk to a financial advisor, have a financial plan, and know what it is that you're driving at in the long term and have confidence that you will get there.
What a good reminder and strategy, because bring it up one more time, you can see people, they're buying at the top and selling at the bottom, which is the opposite of what they think they're doing.
Yes,
exactly. And not what they meant to do from the beginning. And if you are working with a good advisor, a money manager, right, it's tested for those times of the markets. So understand how your investments are working during the good times and the bad times as well. All right. Amazing, Nora. We're going to shift gears over to your financial trends. So Nora is one of our incredible authors. Her chapter is so fierce, so powerful. In our Financial Trendsetters book that is coming out February of 2024. So what is your trend, Nora, that you have in the book?
So the trend that I have been thinking a lot about is women in leadership. I've read a very interesting statistic. I heard this on a podcast maybe, and I had to look it up to see if it was true. So back in 2015, apparently New York Times described that there were less women who held CEO positions in major companies than there were CEOs named John.
Oh my. That's hysterical and so sad at the same time.
I did not think this was true, but I looked it up. They did that research back in 2015, and that has changed. You know,
Okay.
we have come away since then. But not only are we seeing more women hold CEO positions and leadership positions, I think the trend that I'm seeing is the increasing number of women who are redefining what it is to be a leader and an executive. And I think those women leaders of the future are who are going to drive an evolution of the major companies and the company cultures to be more collaborative, more mission-oriented, and offer more flexible work arrangements for employees, especially women who are juggling childcare and elder care and all these other things. And I think as a result of that, then we'll see more and more women see that feasible path to a management position and start changing these cultures, continue changing these cultures from within to something that's more inclusive and more welcoming to everybody.
Yes. And I put in the book, I'll give everybody a little sneak peek as well, forecasting that out. I see more communities and corporations in the future. Women, they're leaving the corporate space. They want more flexibility. They on their own terms, right? They want to recreate that leadership role. And if they're not being given it at their current place, they're going to start their own business or go to a startup or a boutique play similar to the Women's Wealth Boutique and build it out from there, from the ground up as well, but still wanting community and collaboration that you said as well. Or if corporations shift more to community feeling nature environment as well for it. Amazing, Nora. Thank you so much for being with us. Nora Gillis, everyone from Asset Mark. Check out her chapter in our book, Financial Trendsetters, February 2024. You're welcome to stay on, Nora. We're going to do a little meditation as we round out this episode of Women Behind the Millions. But this has been an incredible journey with you to hear your side, your journey through the industry, even overseas to New Jersey. I'm so grateful that you did take that risk so that we could meet and become good friends and also each other's hype crew as well, helping each other out. So thank you for joining us, Nora.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So this time of the show, we are going to get comfortable in our seats, take that sip of wine if you need to. And we are going to do a little shout out to our course Lift, which is a 10-week money meditation journey where you get a new meditation every week, a prayer, a journal work, little training video as well. And it's amazing what abundance it can open up for you today. So going back to our mantra earlier of this episode, I love when life surprises and delights me. I want you to say that as you get comfortable. And take a breath in and repeat it to yourself. I love when life surprises and delights me. And as you breathe out all that to-do list, all the fears, everything that seems overwhelming to you. Just breathe it all out. And just as Nora did earlier, we're going to get you super grounded. And let your thoughts just go through, become that filter. You don't have to resist them. Just let them pop in and leave you. Breathe in. I love when life surprises and delights me. And feel where that energy is in your body. And allow that energy, that gratitude, that excitement to just expand into every part of your body. And you're going to say, I am safe. I am loved. I am deeply blessed. I am highly favored. God sees me, He hears me, He loves me. I welcome this breakthrough. I welcome the opportunity. And God, help me to move out of anything that is keeping me stuck so that I can fully embrace this light that you have given me. I welcome the breakthrough. It is safe to receive it. And allow yourself to just sit here in this place for as long as you need to, a few minutes, an hour. Come back to this feeling and know that the breakthrough has happened. Your body knows it can receive it. And just get very curious with your thoughts, because you're going to receive that download if you haven't already received it yet. And if you want more meditations like this, you can just scan the QR code and grab our course Lift, because meditation will change, completely transform your life. It's like a massage on your nervous system. It helps you to heal. It helps you to open up to new identities, new opportunities, and really just live out of this place of gratitude and love. And with that, one more question for Nora that I forgot to ask her beforehand. Nora, what makes you a woman behind the millions?
I think it's working with all the women and also men like you and like Women's Wealth Boutique, who are doing incredible work with clients, creating their financial plans and understanding their goals. You know, our financial goals are frequently so entangled with our life goals. It all goes together. So being able to work with people doing such amazing work and seeing the impact that you are all having on the country, on the world, right? Helping people with their confidence and peace of mind for the long term. That's what gives me joy, and I love being in this position and being that woman behind the millions.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nora. And to all of our money queens, our listeners, our viewers, thank you so much for supporting us and getting more education, more resources out there to women to just transform the game of wealth for women. So I want you to remember that you are worthy of the millions. And remember to be silly, be fun, be fashionable, be wealthy, be famous, ladies. Allow yourself, be famously wealthy. Let's do it. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on our next episode of Women Behind the Millions. Hey, money queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures. Follow us on Instagram at PinkFixMyMoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money tips.